The presence of Blendhub in Food for Future is based on, let's say, three main objectives. First of all, Blendhub have been localizing a global network of food production hubs in today 7 countries on 4 continents. And we are now accelerating our business model of localization, empowering local communities, creating circular economy solutions, and actually moving the food production closer to the ingredient supply and closer to the final consumers. The second leg that Blendhub is representing is a digitized food quality model with a second company under the Blendhub umbrella that is called Chemometric Brain. So what we are doing from a cloud-based model is that we actually help the local communities and the ingredient suppliers to update and digitize the quality that comes from them. And thereby, the objective in the future is to empower the consumers exactly to understand what it is we are eating. And the third leg is what we call food as a service. The whole thing around food as a service has to do with what I say in a simple way, any recipe connected with any ingredients anywhere in the world. So we are designing and giving any startup, any small medium enterprise, any big food or ingredients company, or even global organizations, the possibility to launch, let's say, take product from idea to product launch faster, safer, and cheaper than ever before in history. We talk a lot about the future of food industry as such, and of course, first of all, we have to understand that the global food production is actually very fractionated. So we have more than 500 million small medium enterprises and farmers who are producing 80% of the world's food, but only taking 20% of the value. What we, as Blendhub, as a platform company empowering local communities and partners in a platform model, is with the objective to actually upgrade the power of the small medium enterprises so they can behave like any global brand today. Imagine that we have a hub in Colombia, we have a hub in Mexico, we have a hub in Spain, and we have a hub in India. Once a food producer or any other organization is coming to us and say, I want to launch a food product, and they approve our model, they do not approve one factory, they actually approve a global network of localized food production hubs. Or many times I compare it a little bit like to the Airbnb of the food industry. That means that we are not only empowering the local small medium enterprises and the farmers to sell commodities into the global food industry, we actually upgrade them and empower them by creating transparent global supply chains. And how Blendhub we see ourselves in the future is creating transparent global supply chains. So everyone who are actually acting in the global agri-food value chain from seed to mouth will have the same possibilities to be heard, to be seen, to create value without being in the hands of someone else that are buying their product at a cheap price, converting it into recipes or personalized nutrition, and thereby they get the biggest part of the value. That is what is happening today. You know, you mentioned Oxfam, you mentioned the Red Cross, World Food Program, United Nations, WHO. These organizations have existed for, many years. And one of the main objectives of these organizations was to eradicate hunger and eradicate malnutrition. The thing is that when we look today, what has happened over the last 50 years, we still have 800 million people going hungry to bed. We still have more than 2 billion people suffering malnutrition. So think about a reverse system where, as I said before, transparent global supply chains, if we start localizing the production, if we start digitizing the quality, and we actually empower the owners that are really doing the product, that are really producing and preparing the product, we empower them to upscale to a completely different level, and we create that in a data model based on transparency in the supply chains. If you, for example, we were in Costa Rica recently as an example, and there was a local regenerative agriculture startup that had done 7,000 pounds of turmeric. this turmeric powder, if they want to sell that to the global market, nobody are going to pay for this turmeric powder beyond what is commodity pricing for any turmeric powder. So if you, for example, have created a very special turmeric powder based on regenerative agriculture, for example, making carbon sequestration a part of your model, creating carbon credits and so on, you are actually starting to create different levels of economy. And we want that anyone who are interested in buying this turmeric powder is actually giving more for that specific product to that specific producer in Costa Rica that are very tiny. Otherwise, they would sell it to an intermediate that again would resell it to someone else. So instead of actually doing the traditional way and go back into the food value chain, of course, via industry or donations, we today have a product that actually the consumer have a possibility to buy with a full understanding of where this product is coming from, how it was cultivated, who cultivated it, and a lot of other data that actually happened at a local level that no one had the possibility to understand ever before. The problem with consumers is that we are today 8 billion people on the earth. So when you start, as we did, let's say 15 years back, in reformulating the way that we operate the food system, you have to start from a very humble perspective, because to reach 8 billion people coming, let's say, product from 500 million farmers and small medium enterprises, in the end, it's connecting an enormous amount of data sets. So of course, I think that the most important thing is to empower these different players in the agri-food value chain from seed to mouth. And the first thing that we are doing completely different that was not done before is that we say to everyone, hey, let's create a shared value model. You actually upload your data or your know-how or your IP or your understanding, whatever you are doing. Today we have technologies like blockchain, we have smart contracts. So think about if you are a formulator in Costa Rica and you use that turmeric, we're actually combining the turmeric producer with the freelance formulator that are creating a recipe out of this turmeric. Think about a system where we combine these two data sets and we actually say, hey, the consumer of these 8 billion people on earth that buy a kilo of this new recipe containing this turmeric powder, actually all the players that are adding true value to the consumer product that is being bought online in Amazon or in the supermarket chain, we actually share the value. So once you are creating a transparent value chain and business model, and you actually empower a platform strategy, so all these people can upload whatever they have on that platform, you can suddenly create a whole new system where there is transparency. I don't know if you heard, but 6 months back, David Spearsley, the CEO of World Food Program, told on Twitter to Elon Musk, said, if you give me 6 billion, I can eradicate hunger. And I'm sorry I say it, I said, I'm laughing, because Elon Musk said to him, the day you give me full transparency that my 6 billion is actually going to eradicate hunger, in the end, I'm going to give it to you. I don't know if what it ended with, but I just want the reflection of people to think about. Actually, if we can create transparency, all the money coming from anyone, donation, for-profit, non-profit, whatever we are doing, we can start deciding not only as a consumer what we eat, we can actually also decide where we want to give back. And I think this is the beautiful cycle of the agri-food industry. And I think this is the true opportunity that instead of competing, we start acting together on a global platform, magic can happen.